Hi, everyone, and welcome to our talk today. I'm so excited to share this information with you. My name is Dr. Emily Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking about healing the health effects of chronic stress and adrenal fatigue to optimize wellness and boost immunity now and moving into cold and flu season and then into the holidays. So I'm going to take a moment here and just pull some slides that I've created just for us today. I'm going to pull those up and share them with you so that you can kind of follow along with me. Give me just one moment here. Technology. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you can see it all. So again, today we're going to be talking about healing chronic stress and adrenal fatigue to boost wellness and immunity every day, and especially moving into cold and flu season. I'm so excited to have been invited to share this with you this weekend. The event that Janet is putting on, I think, is amazing. And so as soon as she told me about it, I knew I wanted to participate. So again, I'm really excited to be here and to share this with you. So let's dive in first. Who am I and why am I qualified to talk about this? My name is Dr. Emily Wilson. I am a naturopathic doctor and a licensed acupuncturist. I am also the founder of Sonos Skincare and Sonos Anti-Aging Medicine. And what I've done over the years through my own personal healing journey, as well as in my clinical practice, is really honed in on helping women heal from the effects of chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. And if you don't know what adrenal fatigue is, don't worry. I'm going to dive into that a little bit because I think it's really important that we understand what it is and we know the warning signs. Because once we know the warning signs for something, then we can change our behavior. We can do things to help ourselves heal. And again, my mission is to help women who are suffering with chronic stress and who are suffering with adrenal fatigue reclaim their health and their self-worth so that they can get their lives back. That's something that I'm really passionate about. And over the years of my clinical practice, and again, my own healing journey, I've sort of melded together my private practice as well as the skincare line that I've built and created Sonos Wellness. And I'll share just a little bit about that with you. Sonos Wellness is, again, it's a collaboration of a lot of different projects I've been working on over time with the overall goal of providing women support through products and services to help her recover from the effects of chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. You can find us at www.sonoswellness.com. I'm also on Instagram at Sonos Wellness. So those are two great places to find me and reach out to me. I'm also going to share some really special things with you today that I prepared just for you, again, because I was really excited when Janet told me about this special weekend, and I knew I wanted to do something special for the people who were participating. Okay, so let's dive in. I have mentioned this a few times now, the idea of adrenal fatigue. A lot of us know what it means to feel like we're under stress, right? Especially if we're living with stress chronically. Not many of us know what adrenal fatigue is. Now, adrenal fatigue is a condition in functional medicine. If you've heard of functional medicine, it's really also known as naturopathic medicine, which is what I practice. And it's really root cause medicine. We're trying to get to the base of the foundation, the root cause of what's going on. And so in adrenal fatigue, we see that as a functional imbalance. It's a functional problem because of our body living in chronic stress for a really long time. Now, chronic stress can be the mental emotional stress that many of us know that we experience pretty much every day in our modern, crazy, busy worlds. Stress can also come from other things, like some people have chronic infections, maybe using drugs or alcohol or having a really poor diet. Those can also be chronic stressors. Having issues with sleep can be a chronic stressor. So there are a lot of things that can put pressure on our bodies and put us over time into a functional imbalance that results in adrenal fatigue. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into the science. If you're interested and you want to learn more about the science behind adrenal fatigue and what's really going on there, I've created something really special for you at the end of this that I will share with you. So hang tight. I promise you will get your questions answered. But again, big picture, adrenal fatigue is a functional problem, a functional imbalance that arises from living with chronic stress for too long. Now, the best way to deal with a functional imbalance is with lifestyle therapies. This is something I go through with my patients all the time. And so what I wanted to do today was not only show you what it can look like to live with chronic stress and adrenal fatigue, which is something that we've normalized, especially as women, but really it's a problem and it's something that we need to address. But most importantly, I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the things that I tell my patients every single day, because I want you to have this knowledge. I want you to be able to understand and utilize it, because to me, education is empowerment. Once you know what to do, you can put the steps in place. So that's really exciting for me. So let's dive in a little bit more. I often get asked how do I know if I have adrenal fatigue? And I think this is a great question, because adrenal fatigue, again, is a functional imbalance, and our adrenal glands are really a foundational cornerstone piece of our overall health. And so because of that, if there's an issue with our adrenal glands, the issue can manifest in many different parts of our bodies. So it can look like anything from cardiovascular issues to autoimmune problems. It can look like chronic weight gain that's really hard to shed. It can look like digestive issues. It can look like sleep issues. So it really depends on the woman and how long she's been living with chronic stress and adrenal fatigue, and where it is hitting her body hardest. So I'll give you a few more symptoms, but little clues that you or someone you know might be living with adrenal fatigue. But big picture, it's a state of unwellness that oftentimes a woman will go to her doctor and seek some support for, but everything looks normal to the doctor. He or she will take a quick history, maybe quick physical exam, maybe run some blood work and say, hey, everything looks normal here. This is all in your head. You're fine. Smile, be happy, go about your life. And that really leaves her feeling alone and alienated, because she just told this person that she doesn't feel well, and they're saying there's nothing wrong. It's all in your head. The other piece that happens a lot with these women that really kills me is that they might be offered an antidepressant, which is never going to help them feel better, because it's not addressing the real issue. The real issue is not a chemical imbalance in their brain. The issue is actually a long-term history of self-neglect and chronic stress. But anyway, to go back to that big picture piece, what does adrenal fatigue look like? Really, it has a lot of symptom crossovers with other things, which is why I say here that adrenal fatigue can look like thyroid disorders. It can look like a chronic pain condition. It can look like an autoimmune condition like fibromyalgia. PTSD is another huge crossover with adrenal fatigue, and adrenal fatigue actually does have a lot of symptom crossovers with mental health issues as well. Another thing we see commonly is female hormone imbalances. So it's really, really important for a woman to make sure that her adrenals are functioning well throughout her reproductive years and after. And if it's especially important if she's trying to conceive and she's maybe having fertility issues, or when a woman begins to transition to menopause, if she already has adrenal issues, adrenal fatigue, that transition is going to be much, much more uncomfortable, difficult, and challenging than it would be if she were starting from a place of healthy and resilient adrenal health. So here are some symptoms of adrenal fatigue. And remember, adrenal fatigue can show up anywhere in the body. But some big clues are daytime fatigue. Often can be paired with insomnia, not always, but often. It's the condition we call wired but tired. You're exhausted all day, but then your head hits the pillow at night and all of a sudden your mind is racing and you can't fall asleep. And that can be really frustrating and devastating for a lot of women. Weight gain is another big clue, especially at the waist, and especially if that weight is really difficult to shed. That's another clue of adrenal fatigue and adrenal issues. Brain fog is a big one. Digestive issues. I mentioned earlier mental health stuff, so depression, anxiety, apathy. Blood sugar issues can be either too high or too low. We can also see blood pressure issues being either too high or too low. Appetite changes are big. Initially, we'll often see an increase in appetite, especially in the form of cravings. So women will start to crave salt, sugar, and carbs. Those are the three big ones. And then further down the road, they're often, they develop real strong physical cravings for stimulants like caffeine. Women can also experience chronic pain issues, headaches that won't be relieved easily, muscle aches, joint pains, easy fatigability. That's like if you're trying to work out or even just go for a simple walk and you get tired or winded quickly. Menstrual changes can be a sign, infertility can be a sign, and difficult menopause can also be another sign of adrenal fatigue and adrenal issues. One other thing I'll mention here, because I did mention the idea of immunity in our talk today, and immune health being really affected when we're living with chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. So when a person is living with adrenal fatigue, they can, it can go one of two ways. Either they can tend to get sick a lot because their immune system is shut down, or they might never get sick. The idea here is that it's actually not a bad thing to get, cold maybe once a year, so that your immune system is still active, it's still working, it's still got some jobs to do. But when we're living under chronic stress, especially initially, we are much less likely to get sick, because chronic stress, the presence of chronic stress hormones actually shuts down our immune function. So we want to be able to step out of stressful situations, and that will naturally help our body reset its immune function. And this is especially important, as I mentioned, going into cold and flu season, going into the holidays, and of course, having dealt with everything we've dealt with, and our immunity being on the forefront of our mind for the last, almost 2 years now. So this is something that I say in my practice all the time, something I tell women: adrenal fatigue is a crisis in women's health. Adrenal fatigue arises because it is a functional imbalance that's caused by living with chronic stress for too long. And as women, we tend to try and do it all. We live in a world where it's perfectly acceptable to have a job, have a partner, have a family, have expectations from other people about what you are able to provide for them. Again, that's professionally, that's personally, with your partner, with your children, maybe with parents or siblings, then with friends. So there are a lot of demands placed on a lot of us. And we tend to want to try and do it all. And so we do, but usually it's at the cost of ourselves and our own self-care. And if we allow ourselves to continue down this road of trying to do everything for everyone else at the expense of ourselves, we will end up suffering the health effects of chronic stress, and we will end up in adrenal fatigue. Adrenal fatigue is a crisis in women's health because it's a cry from women everywhere. It's a crying out saying, I'm empty, I'm depleted, and the world is expecting us to do more and more, but we just can't. We've become overwhelmed with the demands and expectations placed on us, and we can't necessarily fulfill them all anymore. So again, a woman who's living with adrenal fatigue, this is a cry for help. And that's why I firmly believe that adrenal fatigue is a crisis in women's health. Okay, so what do I do? How do I work with my patients every single day and help them recover from adrenal fatigue? The big picture idea here is that what we're doing is we're reducing stress and we're supporting wellness and immunity. And I did include that this was, through the holiday season, but really this is lifelong. We want to reduce stress and we want to promote our wellness so that we can live our lives and enjoy our lives as much as we possibly can. So these are four pillars that I want to share with you because I think that they can go really, really far in helping any of us thrive now and in the future. The first, hydrate well. It sounds so simple, but it's so important. Hydration is huge for everything, including digestive health, detoxification. Did you know that being adequately hydrated can also help reduce the effects of stress, and it supports immunity? This is very science-based, and I love breaking this down for people because once they understand it, it helps them understand why they should drink water outside of me just saying, hey, drink your water, drink your water. So hydrating well actually reduces the burden and the stress placed on our adrenal glands, because when our bodies are well hydrated, it's, well, I'll say it this way, dehydration is an adrenal stressor 100% of the time. And so when we're hydrated, it reduces the potential burden of stress on our adrenal glands. So hydrating well reduces stress for us, absolutely. Hydrating well also supports immunity, and that's because when we're well hydrated, it allows our immune system to flow not only through our bloodstream, but also to kind of do its work pulling toxins out of tissues and fighting bugs, like getting to where the bugs are, helping to destroy them, and then helping to clear out any debris that's there. So hydrating well is critical, not only for adrenal health, but also for immune health. The second piece, eat well. By that, I mean eat a lot of fruits and veggies. Fruits and veggies are super high in nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, which are all going to support adrenal health. And they're also going to support immune health. They're also going to help kill any, bugs that might be living in our system or trying to get in. So we want to make sure that we're eating well with lots of fruits and veggies. They're also high in fiber, which helps balance blood sugar, which is another huge piece for health. We want to rest well. And resting well, there are a lot of ways to rest so that our body can restore itself. One simple thing that I like to remind people of, especially as we get into the holidays, which can be a little bit crazy, but for now and moving into the fall, setting a regular sleep schedule can be really, really powerful for us. So choosing a bedtime and then trying to get into bed, within a 30-minute window of that time can be really helpful for the adrenal glands, because our adrenal glands are cyclical organs. And so they do best when they know what to expect every day. So get a regular bedtime and a regular wake time are actually extremely nourishing and calming for our adrenal glands. It reduces the mental and emotional stress of, oh my God, I have to wake up early tomorrow. Oh my God, I have to, I slept in or I overslept and now I've missed this important thing. So again, setting a regular cycle is huge for supporting our adrenal health. Finally, breathe well. Breath is an amazing tool that is available to all of us at all times. And that's what I think is so powerful and so amazing about this. I mean, talk about empowerment. We have this tool available to us all the time that helps us feel better and literally takes our brain and bodies out of stress mode and into rest and digest mode. So a really simple breath tool is one that I would love to share with you right now. And I call it, it's a rhythmic breathing. And so what you can do is this: consider one breath cycle to last for a count of 10. And a breath cycle is an inhale and an exhale. And so what you want to do is you begin by counting, you begin by inhaling. And as you're inhaling, you count up to 5, nice and slow. And then as you exhale, you count from 6 to 10. And that's your breath cycle. And I encourage you to practice that throughout the day. 2 minutes of this has been shown to shift our bodies from being in fight or flight mode, being in chronic stress mode, to being in rest and digest mode. And so we want to utilize this often to help break the cycle of chronic stress. And so again, rhythmic breathing, breathe in for 5, breathe out for 5. And that's going to be a count of 10. And this is a simple tool that anyone can do that has profound and powerful effects. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. I'm not sure if you can see what I put in the chat, but I get asked a lot by people, how do I know if I have adrenal fatigue? So what I've done is I've created a free quiz. Anyone can take it. If you'd like to take it, I have the link right here so that you can go ahead and access that. And at the end of it, you'll also have access to a wellness guide that I've created to help reduce and reverse the effects of chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. I mentioned earlier as well that self-care is a huge piece of what's missing in women's health. And one way that I have built in the skincare aspect of Sonos Wellness is by bringing in my skincare line. And what I'd love to do is share with you my flagship product. It's called Desert Dweller Highly Restorative Serum, formulated by me specifically to address the aging effects of desert life. So I would love to share that with you. I've also shared with you a special discount code that is good for the weekend for 10% off any purchase of Desert Dweller Highly Restorative Serum. If you would like to try that, I would be honored. And again, I'll share access to the adrenal fatigue quiz with you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all, it's best to find me on Instagram, where I am most active, and you're welcome to DM me, or you can comment on any of my posts there, and I'll make sure that I see your post. I do respond to everything myself. So again, that's a great place to reach me on Instagram. Don't forget, you can take the adrenal fatigue quiz to understand if you might have some adrenal fatigue you've been living with. And then I've also created a discount code in case you would like to try some serum. It's good for 10% towards your purchase. The discount code is good this weekend, and the discount code is CAPRI. And I, again, will share all of that with you. My name is Dr. Emily Wilson. I am the founder of Sonos Wellness. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. This has been, it's my passion and my love to talk about this. So I really appreciate your being here with me tonight or today. And I'm so excited that I was able to participate in this. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful weekend.